מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לא יחסר, בינו דשא ירביצני, על מי מנוחות ינהלני. נפשי ישובב, ינחני במעגלי צדק, למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות, לא ירא רע, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי, דשנת בשם ראשי, קוצי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Today we gather on an incredibly difficult moment to recall with love Lindsay Beth Cohen, a loving daughter, sister, granddaughter, and friend. Every single year we read the Torah. We rejoice at its end on the holiday of Simchat Torah. Even though the final sections of our Torah details the death of our leader, Moshe. Upon its completion, as we did yesterday, we danced and we sang, joyously returning to its beginning, starting to read the Torah from its opening, in the beginning. Judaism teaches that our lives are like a book. We are all shocked, still shaken to our core at such a devastating loss. We're all heartbroken, missing Lindsay, taking from us in a horrific accident, too incredibly young, less than 2 weeks after celebrating her 35th birthday, with so much yet to do in life, so much unfinished, but yet she accomplished so much in such a short time. We should all be joining together for a wedding or some other celebration as we do for 30-year-olds. And yet, we gather here together in Cleveland to say goodbye, to comfort parents who have to do the unthinkable and bury a child, to support brother and sisters who have lost a best friend. The rabbis imagine Moses crying while writing the final chapters of the Torah, telling of his death. And so it is for us today. Though Lindsay's book is sealed with our tears, today through our tears we will speak of her lasting influence, her life and love as tribute. Lindsay's story is filled with generosity, filled with sincerity, with the biggest smile that I've ever seen, and the brightest light, the warmest soul you could meet. There's a poem entitled "The Measure of a Man," which speaks to the moment. And this is how the poem reads. I've changed the gender. Not how did she die, but how did she live? Not what did she gain, but what did she give? These are the units to measure our worth, regardless of birth. Not what was her station, but had she a heart? And how did she play her God-given part? Was she ever ready with a word of good cheer to bring back a smile, to banish a tear? Not what was her shrine, nor what was her creed, but had she befriended those really in need? Not what did the sketch in the newspaper say, but how many were sorry when she passed away. Lindsay leaves behind in mourning her parents, Tova and Chad, her twin sister, Jessica, brother Max, sister Casey, brother-in-law Clancy, grandmother Rhoda, uncles Steve and Craig, and countless, countless friends. Lindsay joins her grandparents of blessed memory, Harold Cohen, Bobby Hensha, and Martin Farkas. She joins her friends and co-workers Amy and Ashley, who had spent a weekend together and were killed in the car crash together. She joins them all in heaven. Chana Senesh, the Jewish heroine, wrote these words: "There are stars whose radiance is visible on earth, though they have long been extinct. There are people whose brilliance continues to light the world even though they are no longer among the living. These lights are particularly bright when the night is dark. They light the way for humankind." And so it is for Lindsay. For Lindsay could light up a room. Like a candle, she gave off true warmth, lit the way for others. When she was with you, she was present. Raised in such a warm and loving home by you, Tova and Chad, she was exceptional. And as Chad, you said, there are so many superlative words like amazing and incredible in the dictionary, but none are enough to describe Lindsay. She had the most amazing smile which was ever present. I can't ever recall her without that big contagious smile, the smile that you simply couldn't help but return. She was always positive, energetic, outgoing, and vibrant. She had a way of making you feel welcomed, loved, and important. A genuine curiosity in people. To learn about you, that's all she wanted. You wanted to be with her. She was a magnetic personality. You wanted to talk with her. Truly beautiful on the inside and out, she had a heart of gold, effervescent, full of love, full of life. Lindsay was compassionate. She got joy from doing for others and doing things with others. She was a connector. She was the family cruise director. When you visited her, she would literally make itineraries for your trip. She'd book the restaurants, time the museum visits, give you directions how to get there if she had to work that day. Children loved her just like they did for her bubby. She loved spending time with her close friends and their children, even babysitting for them. Lindsay was calm and even-keeled. She practiced yoga and could innately calm you. She lived in the moment. She taught so many of us to embrace the moment. She was honest and respectful. She believed in being inclusive. Born in small-town Florida, Newport Richey, the twins, Lindsay and then Jessica, 13 minutes later, were born just 35 years ago. You doubled the nursery population from 2 to 4 that day. The family moved back to Cleveland, and Lindsay graduated from Beechwood High School, class of 2000. She went to Boston University. She wanted the city life. loved an urban location, and graduated with a major in public relations and a minor in women's studies. She studied in Australia and interned at the Australian equivalent of Make-A-Wish, doing marketing. And then she got her start in LA, working in media planning. She loved all the swag that she got from the events that she planned in LA. And she loved especially when her twin Jessica was living there. And Jessica, from your work, she'd be an extra on your photo shoots and the videos that you were producing. Lindsay came back home to Cleveland, worked at Stern Advertising, and then moved to Chicago, working these past years for Energy BBDO as an account executive, working directly with her clients. Her client list included Hefty, PlayStation, Sony, Honda, and the large multivitamin companies. She was very good at her job, called a treasured employee by the CEO, Denise Paul. Her clients loved her. Lindsay enjoyed her relationships that she had with them. She was a relationship maker with a strong work ethic, the highest quality of work. She was a star. She'd always say she wasn't looking to get promoted. She was looking to grow, looking for mentorship for those that could continue to inspire her. The twins, Lindsay and Jessica, always shared a deep bond. They shared a bedroom, always so close, but you had your own identities. As infants, Tova and Chad would put them down for naps, and then soon hear banging coming from their bedroom. They would go and find the girls holding on to the bars of the crib, jumping up and down with diapers and clothes off. As Lindsay and Jessica grew, their twin bond only got stronger. You would stay up talking so late, and when Mom would come in, turn off the lights and tell you it was time for bed, you'd still talk. You'd switch beds, or you'd build a fort between your beds and sleep under it together. As children, you would play Barbie dolls together. Jessica was the hairstylist, Lindsay the makeup specialist. It all went well until Lindsay figured out that when Jessica cut the doll's hair, they wouldn't grow back. You did share a childhood dream of opening up your own beauty salon together. Mom would buy you matching outfits, but you'd never wear them on the same day. Casey, you would try to inspire them to fake people out, to switch classes, to play each other's roles, but you'd never do it. Sometimes you would joke and say, "We've never met each other before." When you had friends over, you'd always put them in the middle, and Lindsay and Jessica would be the bookends. Could you read each other's minds? Jessica, you told me no, but so often, even living apart, you'd buy the same greeting card for your dad for Father's Day. When you were shopping with Mom on separate visits, you would say the exact same things as you went down each of the store aisles. Jessica, you told me that you took great pride in being a twin, and you still do. You always brag about Lindsay. You couldn't wait to tell people about your sister, to show her off to friends when she visited, because she was your best friend. For Max, Lindsay was another mother, always looking out for you and doting on you. You told me I couldn't ask for a better sister. You could always talk to her when you needed help or advice. She'd always make you feel better. And she made Max's girlfriend, Shoshana, feel welcome from the beginning and showed you a great time on that trip to Chicago. For older sister Casey, you were the quiet and insular one. The twins are kind of the opposite, and you'd always go to Lindsay. She'd take you shopping, take you to the makeup counters. You loved how Lindsay helped welcome Clancy into the family, how she always showed interest in the two of you. You told me that Lindsay gave you such great strength to believe in yourself, to seek accomplishment more in life. Sometimes Lindsay had a little bit of a twinkle in her eye for a little bit of mischief, but for her it was always clean and fun, just a bit of adventure. Lindsay called you the fam. Tova was known as Mommers, Chad was Pops. For Lindsay, the fam was the top priority. Everyone would get together for the holidays in Cleveland, for weekends in Chicago, and whenever Tova would cook, Lindsay would be the first to say, "Mom, it tastes as good as Bubby's." Judaism was a very important part of her life, and I had the special privilege of traveling to Israel with Lindsay on Cleveland Federation's Young Leadership Mission just 5 years ago. Her smile was so bright in Israel. She was always up for a new adventure, whether it was camel rides, walking the beach at night, touring the greenhouses at Beit She'an, or a really bumpy Jeep ride in the Golan. I found a few special pictures from that trip. She's always smiling, and I really truly remember her love for being in Jerusalem at the Kotel, at the wall. Lindsay did experience some anti-Semitism recently, following some online dating. And as a result of a little bit of soul-searching and talking, she found out about the Anti-Defamation League, ADL, and their mission, and she was accepted into this year's ADL's Glass Leadership Cohort, which was just about to start in the next few weeks. Lindsay loved culture. She loved Chicago. She loved going to concerts. When walking by, she saw a jazz festival, she'd pop in. She loved the city. She tried the opera and theater, a member of the Chicago Institute of Art. In particular, her 3 favorite pieces, which she shared with the family on visits, were American Gothic, Nighthawks, that famous diner scene, and George Seurat's A Sunday on La Grande Jette. When she took you to the museum, she'd say, "We're visiting our old friends." Lindsay kept up with the newest and hippest trends. She wanted to share them with you. She had an eye for style, an eye for fashion. She could decorate a room, transform a space. She loved taking pictures and sending either pictures or memes, those internet pictures with the comments on them. She loved sharing just the right one that she could find for all of you. She was a great friend. In fact, I think Lindsay had many best friends. And I took a look at her Facebook wall last night, and there were countless incredible tributes to her. And I just wanted to briefly share 2, which speak to her friendships. The first was from a woman named Karen Barkin, and this is what she wrote. In 3rd grade, we were good friends and played at my house. Out of nowhere, Lindsay held my hand while we were playing. Growing up with all boys, this was a foreign thing to me. Had I attempted this gesture, I would have been catapulted across the room. I looked at her baffled and asked why she was holding my hand. She smiled and said, "Why not? I'm your friend." I can't stop thinking about that moment with her, and in light of the circumstances, her spirit and memory, how important it is to show your friends and loved ones how much you love them. And this is from another friend, Maisel Lewis. In 2nd grade, I moved to Beechwood and started a new school. I was different from most of the students, and no one was interested in talking to me, except the boy in my class that was calling me different names. I remember often being lonely and sad. It was hard to adjust. But I'll never forget when Lindsay came up to me and invited me over to her house to play. She was the first person at this school who tried to get to know me and had the courage to go against the crowd to do so. I will always be grateful for her friendship and remember the strong, compassionate, and beautiful person she was. The world needs more people like you, Lindsay. My heart breaks for you. Robin and Danny Brender shared these thoughts with me. Lindsay was a rare kind of friend. She was our sister from another mister. We were her Chicago family. She had an uncanny ability to put herself in your shoes and understand you on a deep level. She was loyal and dependable, selfless, and always made you feel better when you were with her. She saw the good in everyone in every situation. A great listener, she was empathic and made you see things differently. She was expressive and loving, told you what you meant to her, and always ended with, "I love you." She would give you cards that expressed what friendship meant to her. She was the life of the party and made everything more fun. She would do anything for you. When Robin was pregnant with Liam and you needed to get out of your condo and move super fast, Lindsay took over. She climbed on countertops, organized your entire move. She was Aunt Z to Liam, his first babysitter, and they shared a very special bond. Our Jewish calendar has culminated a month long of celebrations, of joy. We ended with the holiday known as Sukkot. Sukkot teaches us about the fragility of life and the joy of life, that everything is temporary. We must put our all into every day. We decorate our sukkah even though we know it's fleeting. It's what we do in life. It's the marks that we leave, the legacies that we leave, the values and memories that live on. There's a time for every experience, a time for birthing and a time for dying, a time for laughing and a time for crying, a time for seeking and a time for losing. These are the words that we read on Sukkot, and it's only more true today. I believe there are parts of us that can never die. The love that we give, the lessons that we share, the kindness and the smiles, the qualities that Lindsay instilled in Liv, they can never die. Her high school yearbook quote read this: "Don't count the days, make the days count." Lindsay made her days count. May she always inspire us to do the same. We miss you already so much. We seem so lost without you. Be our light, be our candle, be our warm flame. There are stars whose radiance is visible on earth, though they have become extinct. There are people whose brilliance continues to light the world even though they are no longer among the living. These lights are particularly bright when the night is dark. They light the way for humankind. Lindsay, you will always light the way for us. We will never forget you. Tehi zichrono baruch. May your name always be for a blessing. And we say, Amen. We'll rise for the memorial prayer.
Eloah selichot, Chanun verachum, Erech apayim v'rav chesed, Hametzech apara pesha, V'akravat yesha menucha, Nechona תחת כנפי השכינה במעלות הקדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת לוי בת ציון בת חיים ראובן וטובה שהלכה לעולמה Ana balarachamim Zachrala tova Kol zechuyoteha vetzikoteha Be'aratzor achayim Ufatach la sharei tzedek Tzedek ve'yora שערי חמלה וחנינה, בסדר כנפיך, אז תראה לעולמים. וצרור, בצרור, החיים ונשמתם. Adonai hu nachalatam v'tanuach b'shalom al mishkavam v'nomar Amen.
O God of forgiveness, you who are gracious and compassionate, patient and abundantly kind, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the soul of Livia Bat Zion, Lindsay Beth Cohen, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that you remember all the worthy and righteous deeds she has performed in this world. May our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May she rest in peace, and we all say, Amen. please be seated. Following our service, internment will follow at Zion Memorial Park, and the family will be observing Shiva at their home, 2879 Soulgrave Road in Beechwood. Today, following burial, when we return to the home, Shiva will begin, and they'll be sitting tonight until 8 p.m. Thursday from 1 to 3 and 7 to 9. Friday, just afternoon hours, 1 to 4. They'll be resuming Shiva Saturday evening after Shabbos from 7 to 9 p.m. And Sunday and Monday, they'll be both afternoon hours of 1 to 4 and evening hours 7 to 9. Each night this week, except for Friday night, we'll be doing an evening Shiva Minyan at 7 p.m. Friends who wish may contribute to B'nai Yeshurun or the ADL Chicago Chapter Glass Leadership.